Hello everybody, you're very welcome to Hawk Talk, the home of following Hampshire Hawks in their Global Super League campaign, and it wasn't to be 2-2 for the Hawks taking on the Lahore Calendars. A close one, a nail-biter yet again, but the Hawks falling just short. We'll review everything that happened in this episode, plus we're going to look ahead to the Hawks taking on the home heroes, the Guyana Amazon Warriors. The games come thick and fast for the Hawks, and once we've done all of that, we're going to have a warm bath.
Oh, knocked him over. Absolutely done like a kipper. Oh, that's close. That's out. Absolutely dead. Yeah, Rossington much more comfortable with that ball coming on.
Ooh, what happened there? He's trying to work it on the onside. It was way down the leg side delivery, and I think it's just ricocheted off his pads.
This one lifted high and handsome. Quite an animated discussion with your captain Carlos Brathwaite. Oh, yep. Wicket!
That's beautiful. Just enough power to go over the line of the innings. He doesn't find the gap. Aklak, but they complete a singles, so...
I'll earn him a boundary here.
I played that shot.
Catch it.
And the same with that. That is also covered because you'd have a deep point. But in the power play, he's just leaked a couple of boundaries.
Big appeal. Third umpire. Yep, given.
Gone. It's gone right through a foot of length.
And has it? I think it has. Oh yes, Benny Howell. Well, there's one of them. There is one of them. That has gone many a mile into the construction site. That might go too. It has. Oh, you beauty, James Fuller. Oh, that's perfect. That's so good. The captain raises his arm, celebrates. He has marshalled an excellent victory for the Lahore Calendars here, a game that they simply had to win. Defending just 135, they've done it, they've won.
Yeah, so not quite to be for the Hawks. Calendars win by 4 runs, 135 for 5. They managed. Liam Dawson, the pick of the bowlers once again for the Hawks, and then them falling just short. Tom Prest helping to get the Hawks off to a decent start, and Benny Howell and James Fuller with a quick 25 to give them some hope. It all means that the Hawks very much still in with a chance of qualification for the final, but they come out with a 4-run defeat out in Guyana. And I'm joined by 2 lovely men to dissect it all. We've got Matt Funnell, team analyst, of course, and also 2-time winner of the T20 Blast Trophy, Sean Irvine with us. Sean, nice to see you. Nice to be back.
Yeah, it is. It's great to be back. Thanks for the invite.
Lots of good memories here, no doubt. What was it like walking back into this dressing room, which we've made look a little bit more tidy for you?
Yeah, it was always pretty messy, to be honest. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been 6 years since I've walked through these doors. So yeah, a lot of fun memories. Yeah, a lot of good times.
We'll get to some of those memories a little later on. And Matt, you brought your notebook with you today. I like it. It's like coming to school with your pencil case. So lads, Hawks not to be for them against the Calendars. 4-run defeat, another narrow game. What did you put it down to, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I happened to watch quite a bit of the game. I think towards the back end of our bowling, I think we struggled to get our lengths right, especially towards the death end of the overs, and maybe in that sort of middle period, when we were batting, trying to sort of keep up with that rate. We may have lost a little bit, but when the games get really tight like this, you can nit and pick so many different areas where you could have gained or improved in so many sort of places, basically.
Well, we mentioned, Matt, didn't we, earlier in the week about batting first idea is really the way to go about it if you can, isn't it? Hawks having to chase this time around. Did that show, that chase there, quite how hard it is to do in those conditions?
Yeah, we obviously would have backed ourselves to chase anyway, but you look at ground stats from the most recent competition here, 65% bat first win during the day games. The day and night games are real differentials. But yeah, even with the used wicket as well, that made it slightly trickier. Obviously, it wasn't ideal conditions for them batting first anyway, so it just got harder for us at the end as well.
We'll come on to the previewing the game against the Guyana Amazon Warriors shortly, but looking back on it as a player, are those the games you can look at and you think, yeah, you know what, that one did get away from us?
Yeah, absolutely. Spin is always going to play a huge part, especially in that sort of part of the world. And like Matt said, all these games are all at the same venue, so the wickets, you expect them to deteriorate quite a lot, really. And so the scores potentially might get less and less. So playing spin plays a huge part in trying to sort of win games.
Well, James Fuller was a man who gave Hampshire hope towards the end. He spoke after the game to Kevin James.
Well, James, it was all about those last 3 balls. You needed 3 sixes. You're on strike. At that moment, what are you needing 18? What are you first thinking?
Nothing. I mean, that was just, nothing really. Sort of just trying to be pretty present and not try to predict anything still, and just react. So the first one goes for 6 on the leg side. What are you thinking then?
Nothing, man, that's the thing. I think when you just try not to put too much, try not to think this ball's got to go, or so it's just trying to stay present. We do a lot of work with Jimmy Adams on that. Try not to get too far ahead. Try not to think what the bowler's going to bowl. And again, second to last ball, just trying to stay nice and low. Because of the nature of the wicket's it doesn't bounce very much. So that's something I've sort of tried to adjust, is just try to keep the roll low, and obviously got that full toss and was able to get under it.
Yeah. So the penultimate ball, you've hit it away on the leg side for 6 more, but there was a bone of contention as to whether it was 2 fall and a no ball. There was quite a long time before a decision was made.
Yeah, well, I think I was so low it felt like it was at head height. But I'm not sure. They must have checked it a few times, but it felt pretty full. I was hoping for a no ball. It would have made it a little bit easier. 4 would have gone to a super over, which would have been nice, but it was what it was.
Matt, for you, where did that game get away from the Hawks? I know you've got your notepad as well, so feel free to dive into it.
If we're comparing both innings, I think it's just those death runs at the end that separated them from us. I think we started really well with the ball. We talked about the ideal length in these sort of conditions with the tricky wickets, and our average length in the previous game was around 7.2 metres, and we actually dragged that back to about 7.4. So it doesn't sound like a massive difference, but that slightly back of a length area seemed really tricky up the top, which we hit on a more consistent basis, which obviously consequence with the lower power play score. But I think the plans at the end, maybe we could have gone slightly more pace off, but there was clearly a plan there, and just slight lack of execution. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't. Unfortunately, today wasn't it one of those days.
Would you say as well, maybe from a batting perspective, in those middle overs, did Hampshire get a little bogged down?
Yeah, they did. And it's quite a sort of tricky sort of time to bat. There is an element of having to take a risk, just to sort of push that field back, and then it opens up so many more areas, especially with your sort of strengths and weaknesses, as a batter. So they may have been, they probably should have maybe taken a few extra risks just to push the field back, and then they could have rotated the strike a little bit. Dots play a huge part, in any defeat, and you can look at how many dots we faced and how many dots they faced, and I think Matt's mentioned it. We're probably about 4 or 5 more than them, so that plays a big part.
Does that make a big difference, Matt? You mentioned it's only a small number to us, but actually, is that quite a stark difference when you look at it from a stats perspective?
Yeah, it all sort of comes into one. We talk about the dots, build up of pressure, lower strike rates. Especially in a chase, that increase of run rate, you always see that that number on the board racking up. So yeah, it definitely does play a big part. Only 3 or 4, but like Sean has said before, what we do so well here at the Utilita as a team is push 1s and 2s really well in the field. It's a big ground. There are pockets at the Providence as well. So I think if we can do that more in the middle overs, especially when we're under pressure, it doesn't always have to be a boundary option. I think that will go further into winning games of cricket.
There were a couple of controversial moments towards the end of the game. We were looking at the law books to discuss Liam Dawson's run out, but then we won't bother with that. Let's come on to this one, gents. It was right at the very end. James Fuller giving Hampshire a sniff at the end with 2 consecutive 6s. The second of those, though, coming off of this full toss. Now, It's one of these situations, right? If it's above waist height, it's a no ball and a free hit. If it's not, then it's not. How did you see it, Sean?
I saw it as the right call for it not to be a no ball.
That's not what Hawks fans wanted to hear.
But I think if you look at the law about that sort of certain delivery, I think it's at an average or at a standing position, and then it becomes obviously they've got to guess if he was standing in a normal sort of stance position, is that going to be higher or lower or on the money? So he's quite a tall lad, so he was crouched down. And it did go for 6, which gave Hampshire at least a chance, but it was probably the right call in the end.
Yeah, one of those games where we are just playing a guessing game. There's a lot of graphics and stats and Hawkeye at the moment around. Is there nothing, Matt, that you have access to that actually is able to give a definitive line as to a batter's standing waist height?
No, it's tough, isn't it? Like Sean just said, it's a lot of discrepancy in that, where his standing position is, if he's crouching down. There was one literally just the other night with Scott Edwards for Victoria where he was so far ahead of where he would have actually stood, but they saw that as a no ball. But it wasn't to be today. That decision might go against us another day, it might go for us another day, so we can't dwell on that and we move on from that.
Yeah, move on quick the Hawks will have to do, because they take on the home heroes, and we'll preview that next. Yeah, very quick turnaround for the Hawks before they take on the home heroes, the Guyana Amazon Warriors. Sean, is that a good thing as a player if you're coming off the back of a defeat to immediately have a chance to put things right?
Absolutely, 100%. You want to rectify what happened. It's I looked at the Hampshire's first game, and you want to be winning those tight games. So hopefully against the home team, they can actually win quite convincingly.
Well, they've won from 2, are the Guyana Amazon Warriors. Defeat to Victoria on Friday evening, Matt. That was a bit of a shock defeat, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Victoria played brilliantly, but I think, as we mentioned a few days ago, the fielding really came down to it. There wasn't a lot to split the teams, and there was a couple of mistakes in the field that when you look back, when they got quite close at the end, that actually cost them.
Imran Tahir is, of course, their captain. You know a little bit about him, played with him. Tell us about A, the type of cricketer he is, and B, the character he is, because he seems to us, when we watch him on telly, like a ball of joy.
He is, and he loves bowling. He absolutely loves bowling. You can tell, by every time he celebrates when he gets a wicket, it's you can't catch him. So, but he's quite quiet in the change room. But he's a wonderful man and a wonderful human being, and hopefully the boys can get one over him.
How do you get one over him? What's the way you go about facing him?
It's obviously a lot different for a left-hander to a right-hander. Right-hander, he's sort of always targeting the stumps, with a lot of sort of flat ones, googlies, top spinners. He's not a really big sort of turn of the ball, as in his leg break, but his wrong one, I would say, turns more than his leg break. So, but as a left-hander, I used to sort of get up my crease and actually run at him, and it seemed to work for me. I don't know about the rest of the guys, but yeah, run out the crease. But yeah, that's how I used to play him.
Just leg it towards him. I like that. It's good advice. Get that in the coaching manual. Dwayne Pretorius, Matt, he was player of the match in the first game, 4 for 21. What have the seamers done well in this tournament to get wickets and success?
I think he's just been so consistent with his length. He's played so many games at the ground. He knows what areas to bowl, and then at the death, he's just been confident with his plans. The first game he went wide and slow, and that worked for him with the odd bumper in there, similarly to what Woody might go. So yeah, I think he's just been really brave in what he bowled, and he's got so much confidence in his own ability that it comes off more often than not.
Well, we'll see if Hampshire can get back to winning ways. Before we let you both go, we've got a couple of questions that have been sent in. You can get in touch anytime at Hants Cricket on socials. We'll start with you, Sean. Caroline asks, what is your favourite Hampshire memory as a player?
My favourite Hampshire memory is probably the 2005 one-day final. Back then it was a knockout competition, so you started off by playing sort of minor counties. We actually played up in Shropshire, and on a ground that the angle was quite severe, a lot of no balls. But you know, we had
Don't talk about that.
We had fantastic guys in our change room, you know, to learn off. You know, Shane Warne, Kevin Peterson, just to name a few. And yeah, and where we hadn't won a trophy in, I think it was about 13 years, to get that first one, and then to start that sort of, you know, maybe a decade of sort of starting to win trophies and perform really well in that sort of one day and T20 competitions. Yeah, that was probably my favourite.
I'm pleased you've mentioned that, because I've just remembered as well, you got 100 in the semi-final against Yorkshire, didn't you, here?
Yeah, that's right. And
My first ever game of cricket.
Yeah, really?
First ever game of cricket. Thanks for that. You got me into this. It's thanks for you that I'm doing this bloody job.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. I don't know if it's been done before, to be honest. I don't know if someone's got 100 in the semi and the final. I don't know.
Matt?
But
I don't know, to be honest. Come on. We'll go for no to make it more exciting.
Yeah.
But it was, from memory, it was quite a sort of unique day as well, because, you know, the bus driver actually had done too many hours, and he actually refused to take him to the ground. And then they had to get a tractor to take all their luggage.
A tractor?
Yeah, and Craig White, who was the Yorkshire captain, he actually ran from down the bottom of the roundabout to delay the toss, and then obviously the game got delayed, and then obviously, you know, the game continued. But yeah, there was a load of events that day. So yeah.
Cricket's a leveler.
Pretty
I don't
amazing.
actually remember those from when I was
Yeah.
8, but anyway, I'm sure it was a great day out, and a great answer as well. One for Matt. Why is everyone, and I've been wondering this, Matt, why is everyone referring to Graham Welch, the Hampshire coach, as Pop?
I don't think it's as exciting a story as people think. His old man is called Pop Welch as well, and so he's named after that. Yeah, he's old man. I've only met him a couple of times, but he seems to be an absolute legend. So I think he's trying to take on that name and try and live that through as much as he can.
Oh, that's it though.
Yeah, unfortunately, it might be more than I don't know though.
You got a nickname?
Not really.
Matt?
Stat Matt.
Stat
Still
Matt.
boring.
That's good. I like that. So Stat Matt. It's something to work on. Final one then from Harrison, who would like to know, Sean, of all the young talent at Hampshire currently, who excites you the most?
There's a young batter who's I want to say he might be 16, maybe 17. A guy called Ben Mays. He's in the academy, I believe. May even have a rookie contract. I'm not sure. And but he's an exceptional talent. Played hockey for England, and also obviously cricket as well as a thing. So he did have a choice of both. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure he's going to choose cricket. But yeah, he's an exceptional talent, and no doubt one for, you know, higher honours.
So Mays may be very, very, very good, is what you're saying. Yeah. Good. You guys can have that one on me. That's fine. Brilliant. Wonderful stuff. Listen, lovely to see you, Sean, and so pleased that you're looking so well, and you're going to come back anytime, I hope.
I hope so. Obviously involved in the coaching setup, so hopefully I can contribute something else.
Lovely to see you as always. Matt, right, we will have a review of the Hawks taking on the Guyana Amazon Warriors on Monday. That'll be in your feeds. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube to Hampshire Cricket, and we'll speak then.